Okie dokie, it's 10:38 p.m., 12/17/2015. I still have an hour and a half of my birthday, and this is actually the conclusion of the JavaScript tutorial that I've been following from the New Boston's YouTube videos on JavaScript. I think that this has been pretty much a review for me from other classes that I've taken. I've never specifically taken a class on JavaScript, but using Visual Basic and some Java, there's a lot of similarities. Anyhow, we're going to get to the code here. The output in this first div says Jacob Turner has 20 years left before retirement. So let's go over how we got that to output in our browser. First of all, again, here's our list item. It has an on-click event that is set equal to, and all of this is in double quotes, style.background color equals tan in single quotes, and return true. And don't forget the semicolons because they're important. So that means that when I click on this, it turns tan. And I created an external style sheet so that I wouldn't have to have it in the HTML file. And this link right here is what links it. This is the style sheet itself. And the li :hover is what gives me this background color of yellow when I hover over each of my list items. If I were to change that background color to pink, if I can type, then if I were to run it again, we're going to cancel all this. We're actually going to go over the code that gives us all of these. But if I were to change it to pink, it would actually be like that. And you know what? For shits and giggles, I'm going to leave it pink. The list item itself, the style that I gave the list item, border 10 pixels, blue ridge, I can change that blue to maroon, if that's how you spell maroon. And cancel out of all of this. And let's just do that, just for a little change of pace. Margin is 5 pixels. Padding is 15 pixels, border radius is 20 pixels, font size is 35 pixels. Again, the li :hover gives us a background color of pink when we hover over the list item itself. And I have a text area with a resize of none, width of 100%, height of 50. That is something that I did in an earlier video. I didn't work with any text areas in this particular video snippet, so I'm not really worried about that. And that height actually should be set not just as 50 by itself, but 50 pixels. Okie doke. So let's get out of the style. We don't really need to look at that anymore. Beginning HTML, head, there's the link that pulls in the style. And all this other stuff right here is stuff that I did earlier, and I commented it out so that it won't be really extra stuff that I need to scroll through. We've got a script here. I might as well read the note that I gave to myself. Another constructor function with an added method as well. Methods calculate something about the properties. This function, this object that we created called people, well, the properties would be name and age here. We have it in the parentheses, and then in the meat of the curly braces we also have it here. So these are properties that the object people has, and this right here, we create a function outside of this object, years left to retire, and we set that to, I guess you could call it an alias. This is the actual name of the function that we create here, but we didn't misspell it, but we spelled it differently in that this is the one. Everything on the left hand side of the equal sign is what we're going to refer to down in the code further down. Okay, so it's kind of like an alias to protect the code itself. Set the blueprint object this.years to retire equal to the function or the method, same thing, that you create that will do a calculation, and put it in the function people. So even though function people here that creates the object people only revolves around name and age and we use this dot name equals name and this dot age equals age in order to tie our method into the object people. We have to take this method called years left to retire and set it equal to this dot and then whatever we want to call it, years to retire, and we're setting it equal to the actual method name. Okay. Here is where we make the method and make a variable that we can return. We use the keyword function and we give it the name years left to retire with an empty set of parentheses. And in the meat of the curly braces, which is basically the directions for this function, we are creating a variable with the var keyword. We're giving it a name of num years. We're setting it with the equal sign to this mathematical expression. 65, because we're assuming that at age 65 you can retire, and you're subtracting this dot age, which up here in our people object, this dot age is going to be equal to age. And we're going to return num years, which is this variable that is going to get the value of this mathematical equation. Okay, here we're going to create new instances of the people object. This is the people object. Function people, in parentheses, the only thing that we care about in this particular thing is name and age. And I think I did this already. We use the keyword this dot name equals name, this dot age equals age, this dot years to retire equals the actual method that we created, years left to retire. Here we're going to create an instance of people. We're going to create a people, or a person, if you will. Var for variable, we're going to create a variable, name of Jacob, we're going to set it equal to new people, meaning this people, this object. And then because we're creating a new object of this particular, a new instance rather, of this particular object, we have to fill in this parentheses, an answer to these particular I can't think of the word right now, but basically name comma age, we have to put a specific name comma age, which is going to be set to Jacob. So in double quotes, because it's a string, we have the name Jacob Turner, a comma that's going to separate those two, and then age is 45. Since 45 is a number, you don't have to put that in double quotes. Now I wanted to create a second one. Var myself, Lisa, is equal to new people. So now I'm going to create an instance of the people object based on me and my particular details. So the first thing that is being addressed up here is name. So in double quotes, I'm going to put my name. Then we've got the comma and the comma. And then we've got age right here. And I'm going to put my age, which technically I'm not 47 anymore. I'm 48 as of today. And that ends the script. So in this entire script set, we have a couple of things going on. We created a function named people and gave it 2 parameters. We created a function that's actually a method, years left to retire, and we did a mathematical equation and set it to a new variable, and we used the return keyword to give back that answer or that value for that variable. Then we created a couple of instances of the people object. So we created a new name, var, and a name, and we set it equal to new people because it's going to be one of these. And because it's going to be one of these, we have to obey what's in these parentheses, which is called the parameters, and we are going to set that in the proper order. So var Lisa equals new people, Lisa Woodson, comma 48. That's the end of that script. And we're still working on this one right here. So this is what we do in the head. Let's go down to the body. The li, which is a list item with the on-click method of style.background equals tan, return true. My hover I changed in the CSS file, but when I click on this, it turns tan. Okay, that's basically what that on-click event does for the list item. Then we have a script, and our script goes from here to here, the purple tags, and the end of the LI means the end of the list item. So this is all that's going on in this particular tan background area. There's the script tags, and the only thing that's happening in this particular script, there's two things that are happening. We have document.write, and what we want to output to this browser window is jacob.name, which we created as Jacob Turner in the head. See this? Var Jacob equals new people. We gave Jacob the full name of Jacob Turner there. So that when we call it with jacob.name, jacob.turner is going to spit out in the browser window. We use the plus sign to concatenate in double quotes a space the word has and another space. So after Jacob Turner, we have a space, we have has, and we have another space. Then we concatenate that to jacob.years to retire. Well, years to retire is this function right here, and it takes 65 minus this dot age. Well, Jacob's age is 45, so if you take 65 minus Jacob's age of 45, you're going to get 20, and so that's where the 20 comes from, because we actually used Jacob and the dot operator and the method years to retire. So based on Jacob's property of age, we were able to come up with that 20. And then we're going to use the plus sign to concatenate that to the rest of this that says a space, years left before retirement. And then you have two break tags, which gives us two spaces here. So that gives us our first thing. Well, the reason I gave myself two break tags to go down one line and a space is because I wanted to do the same thing for the instance that my name did, and I wanted to basically follow all of this but use my information. So if I right click this and hit copy and put all of this in this parentheses, and then everywhere Jacob is, just replace Jacob with my name, Lisa, then it should do everything the same way. So let's go on ahead and save this in Notepad++ and hit the refresh button. And all of these pop-up boxes I want to just cancel out of. This says Lisa Woodson has 17 years left before retirement. So that's not a whole lot of time, but still, if I can find a good career, it'll still be a good little knot before I'm ready to retire. And that's the end of the script and the end of the list item. So that's the end of this whole section right here. So let's move on to the next one. The next one discusses arrays. We have the same list item with the same exact syntax, style background, color equals tan, and then we have our script tag, and everything in the purple script tags is what's going to cause this to happen. So we're going to create a new variable with a var keyword. We're going to call it people. We're going to set that equal with the equal sign to a new array. We're dealing with arrays now. In the parentheses, we have 4 names, and each name is surrounded by double quotes and separated by a comma. This is actually an array of me and my 3 children. So we have Lisa, Sean, Jeremy, Christina. So that's the new array that has the name of people. So here we're going to show you how to output each of those array elements. Document.write is going to spit it out here on the screen, and the way that we get this first array element is that we use the name of the array, which is people, and array indexes start at 0. So even though Lisa is the first element in the parentheses, this isn't people 1, it's people 0, because arrays start at index 0. Sean will be at array index 1, Jeremy will be at array index 2, and Christine will be at array index 3. So that's how you get people index inside of these straight brackets 0, people straight brackets 1, people straight brackets 2, people straight brackets 3, plus we're using the plus sign to add this break tag so that we go down and down and down to subsequent lines. If I didn't have the break tag, Lisa, Sean, Jeremy, and Christina would all flood one line. There's the end of the script and the end of the list item, so basically it's the end of this particular box. The next section, other ways to create an array if you know the size and items. Here's our list item tags here and here. Here's our script tags, opening and closing. So we're going to use the var keyword to create a new array with the name of colors. We're going to set var colors equal to a new array, and because we know that we want 6 elements in that array, we have the number 6 in parentheses and the ending semicolon. Now this just basically creates a new array and tells us how many elements are going to be in it. So how many things are going to be in this list, in other words, this list that's called colors. Well, we know how many is going to be in there, but we don't know what the colors are going to be until we do this. We take the name of the array and we set this index. This is the index 0, and we set that equal to a string called blue, and then we have our semicolon. So the first element in the colors array is blue. The second one has the array index of 1, and we're going to set it at purple. The third has the array index of 2, it's going to be red. The fourth has an array index of 3, and it's going to be orange. The fourth array index is going to be yellow, and the fifth and last index of the array colors is going to be the fifth index, and it's going to be green. Again, arrays always start with 0, so don't be confused. If you know you have 6 array elements, your highest index is going to be 5. Now, in order to see that, we use document.write, and in parentheses and double quotes, first of all, we have the string that says my favorite color is with a space. So that's going to spit out this right here, my favorite color, my favorite color is with a space. It's going to stop right before red, and then we're going to concatenate it with a plus, and we're going to take that particular array by using the name of the array, which is colors, and what index it is, which is 2. Now if you look up here and see colors 2, it's equal to red. That's why you get my favorite color is red. That's how you get that output. End of script, end of list item. Let's move on to the next box. This one says create a shell of an array when you don't know how many items or what the items are yet. Same list item, same script tags. We are going to use the var keyword to create stuff equals new array. We have no number at all in these parentheses, so we have no idea how big this is going to be. Then this random code here really doesn't mean anything. It just means that if you're making a program, you know that you're going to use an array, but you have other things that you need to do. So all of this is basically meaningless. This is just saying you don't know what all is going to go in the array yet. You're going to do other things, and it could be anything. Now, as you go along, you may start adding array items. So the name of the array is stuff. So at this point, if you want to add, you don't have to add the array items right after you create the array. If you add them as you go along, you use the name of the array and the index, which the first one is going to be 0, and you set it equal to whatever the first thing is. That's why this particular thing just says the first array element. It could be anything. Then you have stuff with an index of 1. You set that to whatever you're going to set it to. In this case, the second array element. Here you're going to output the display of the array elements that you've created here. Once you've created array elements, then you can actually use document.write to spit it out on the screen. In this case, because we've created stuff with an index of 1, you can actually write it out, stuff1, and stuff1 is set to this. So that's why in this particular list item it says the words the second array element. So we're done with that one. Now let's go on to the next. End of script, end of list item. This says array properties and methods. There's our li, and it goes down to here. Here's our script tags, goes down to here. We are going to create an array with the name of guys. So we use the keyword var guys equals new array, and in the parentheses we are going to put the names of 4 guys' names, all in double quotes and separated by commas. We're going to do the same thing with girls. Var girls equals new array, and then we're going to have 4 girls' names, again surrounded by double quotes and separated by commas. Then we're going to use this to combine both of these 2 arrays into one long array. So you use the keyword var, you give it a name people, instead of guys or girls you're going to mix them, so var people equals, and this is what you do. You use the name of the first array, or whichever one. It doesn't have to be guys first, it could be girls first. But in this case we're using guys first. We're using the dot operator and a method for concatenation which is concat, and then in parentheses, the name of what array you're going to concat to the first one. So the guys array, this is almost like an addition, a concatenation, girls, and then the semicolon. So now we are going to show how this dot length property shows how many elements are in the array. Obviously, the guys array has 4 elements. Obviously, the girls array has 4 elements, but when we concatenated them both together, we should have 8 elements. So we got document.write, how many elements are in the guys array, plus guys.length plus 2 breaks. So you got up here, how many elements are in the guys array? Well, you got the answer, 4. Guys.length gives us 4. Now, this one right here, this comment says, this shows the 2 arrays concatenated last element. Well, it's actually not the last element because we have document.write. We're not dealing with 6 elements total. We're actually dealing with 8 elements. So let me change that from last element to 6th element. Document.write. We get the text that says the 6th element in the new concatenated array is with a space. That spits out all of this. Plus people index 5. Index 5 is going to give us Cheryl. And how we do that is, since we start off with the guys array first, there's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The 5th index. It's actually the 6th element, but again, since array start at 0, the 5th index is Cheryl. So that's how you get that. And that's the end of the script, the end of the list item. On to the next chunk right here. Now we're here. Okay, we're going to use the array methods join and pop here. There's the list item opening tag, and all the way down here, this has quite a bit of code. There's the ending. And then inside of that, there's the opening script tag, and there's the ending. So we're going to create an array that's called movies. So you use the var keyword, the name that you want to give the variable movies, set it equal to a new array, and in the parentheses, every single movie that you put in this array is going to be surrounded by double quotes and separated by a comma. We've also given each movie a space before the name of the movie as well, so that we don't smash all these names of movies all together. Here we have a note to ourselves that says the method called join takes all of the array elements and puts them into a string separated by commas for your output display. So we want to use this join method, and then we want to actually join all of those movies in a string and then set it to this variable called string1. So we use the var keyword, we give it the name string1, we set it to as an assignment operator with the equal sign, and we use the name of the array movies, the dot operator, and the method join with empty parentheses. What that does is it takes all of these and puts it on one line string. It just basically puts it out the way you see it here, actually. Then you use the document.write, and we have our own text that says the elements in the movies array are, and then a break tag which goes down to the next line. So that says this, and then it breaks down to the next line. And then we use plus string1, which is going to give us this value right here. We get whatever movies.join does is going to be put into this variable called string1. And what we wound up getting was The Notebook, As Good as It Gets, $1 Million Baby, and Liar Liar. So we have those 4 movies spitting out right there. Now, if you don't want a comma in between your output here, then one way you can change that would be var string1 equals movies.join, and instead of having nothing in the parentheses, as there's nothing in the parentheses here, you put double quotes and spaces and give yourself a couple of squigglies or whatever you want to separate the different elements of the movies array. So in this case, this is what we did, but you have to still use the document.write in order to see it. So we have a couple of break tags so that we move down 2 lines, and then the string, the elements in the movies array are, and then another break tag to go down 1 line, and plus string 1. So we're basically going to join the movies, but in between each of the movies elements is going to be 2 squiggles, and we're going to put that answer in this thing called string 1. And then here we're going to use document.write to spit it out. So here we've got the elements in the movies array are, and it's the same thing as above, but everywhere that there was a comma, now we have a space, a squiggle, and a space. So that just gives you a different output presentation. Next, we are going to go over this note that says the pop method removes the last array element. So we use document.write so that you see what the last element is. Now actually we already have the list here, so we know what the last element is, but we're going to go on ahead and just double check. We have 2 break tags so that we go down a couple of spaces, and then we have the text, the last element in the movies array is a space, and then we concatenate plus movies with the third index, which is going to be it's going to be the third index. This one's 0, this one's 1, this one's 2, and this one's 3. So you know the third index is going to be that last one, plus the break tag to go down a space. The last element in the movies array is liar, liar. Then we have this note. This removes the last array element, so you no longer have 4 elements. So we're going to use pop to pop that last one clean off. We're just going to pop it off. So we take the name of the array, the dot operator, and pop, and then we display it by using document.write. Then we have all of this right up to here, a break to go down 1 line, and the words the last element in the movies array after popping the last one off, not the last on off, is, and that gives us all of these words. And we're going to try to look at movies with an index of 3. We showed movies of an index 3 right above it as being liar, liar, but after we use movies.pop to pop the last one off, there will be no such thing as movies index 3. And then we're going to concatenate whatever that value is, which you're going to see when it's not there, what it's going to tell you. We're going to break down to the next line, have a couple of dots, and have the words because you are looking for an array index that no longer exists. So the last element in the movies array after popping the last one off is, and this is the word that they give you, undefined. We took liar, liar off of that list, so now when we look for the index where that used to be, we get the word undefined, and then we add it on because you are looking for an array index that no longer exists. Alright, so we'll move down a little further and we have document.write. This time we're going to be right here. This time we're going to go down a couple spaces. And we have the words, the length of the movie array is. So we have the new length of the movies array is in a space plus movies.length. Well, movies.length at this point is 3. We used to have 4 as the length, but now the length is 3 and 2 break tags so that we get this space before the next section. And our little note to ourselves says, now do the join method again to output the new movie list. So now we use the var keyword, we give it a variable name string 2, we set it equal to movies.join, and instead of having a comma or a couple of squigglies, we have a space and 3 asterisks in a space. It's going to be between each movie. We're going to use document.write so that you see the output. The words in double quotes, the new list of movies is now, with a break tag. You have the new list of movies is now, the break tag goes down here, plus string 2, which is going to give you the notebook, a space 3 asterisks, the next one as good as it gets, a space and 3 asterisks and another space, and lastly $1 Million Baby. So now that's your list. The end of the script, the end of the li list, list item, and so we are done with that box. The next one we're going to do is array methods, reverse, push, and sort. There's your beginning list item, and this is another kind of long one. There's the end of the list item. There's the script tag and the end script tag, and everything that we do is in between. We're going to create a new array by using the var keyword for variable. This array we're going to call body parts. We're setting it equal to new array. The elements of this array are going to be contained within this parentheses. They're going to be surrounded by double quotes and separated by a comma. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes is the array elements of body parts. Then next we're going to use var string. We're going to create a new variable called string. We're going to set it equal to bodyparts.join. Then we're going to look at it on the the display here, and we're going to use document.write. The body parts array list of elements is currently plus string. So that is what gives us this up here. The body parts array list of elements is currently head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Now we have this method called reverse. So you use the name of the array body parts, the dot operator, and the method reverse. Var string equals body parts join. You always have to use, whenever you use sort or reverse or pop, you have to, after you do that to the actual list, you have to go through this whole body parts join and set it to a variable all over again in order to see the output. And then after that, use document.write to actually code the output that shows on the browser window. Two break tags so that you skip 2 lines. The word, the body parts array list of elements after you use the reversed method is plus string. At this point, we started off with head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and we have these words, and look, toes, knees, shoulders, and head. It totally reversed the list right here. So this is the reversed list. The next note we have to ourselves says this adds an element or elements to the end of the array. Now we're going to use a method called push. So you take your name of the array, body parts, the dot operator, and the method push. We're going to add 3 more body parts to our array. And those body parts are in parentheses. Each body part is going to be surrounded by double quotes and separated by a comma. We have fingers, elbows, and chin. Just like we did up here and up here, we have to create that join. So var string equals bodyparts.join. That's going to join these actual new players to the game. You're going to use document.write. 2 break tags to go down 2 spaces. The words, the body parts array list of elements after you use the push method is, and then concatenate plus string. So now we have these words, and here's our total list. Toes, knees, shoulders, head, fingers, elbows, chin. So there's our new array. Our next note to ourselves says the sort method sorts all array methods into alphabetical order. So you use the name of the array body parts, the dot operator, and the method called sort. Same thing that we've been doing, var string equals bodyparts.join, so that it actually puts all that into a list. Then you use document.write. 2 break tags to go down a couple spaces. The words, the body parts array list of elements after you use the sort method is, and then plus string. So let's get the new value of string, which right here is the string, and here's chin. This is the alphabetized sort order. Chin, elbows, fingers, head, knees, shoulders, and toes. So whatever list you come up with, if you want to put it in alphabetical order, that's what you're going to use. You're going to use the sort method, and it'll do that job for you. There's the end of the script and the end of the list item, so we're done with that. The next one that we're on right here says a prompt box and add array elements using a loop. There is our list item beginning tag. There is our ending tag. There's the beginning script tag. There's the ending script tag. We are going to create a variable called user input. So you say var user input equals. Now we're going to use a prompt. And the prompt is going to say enter your name. And then we have a comma and we have an empty pair of double quotes. For the heck of it, I'm going to say blah, because I really want to know what this actually does. We have document.write that's going to have the words hello plus user input plus an exclamation point and 2 break tags. After that, we're creating var gift equals new array 3. There's going to be 3 gifts that the user is going to be able to type in. And this time we're going to use a prompt box. And we're going to use this loop right here. For I equals 0, and that's going to be actually like our counter. As long as I is less than 3, increment I. And in the meat of the curly braces, we have gift with the index of I starting at 0 equals prompt, add a gift idea. And again, we have this comma and this, and I still am not really sure what this is supposed to do, because in his tutorial he just told us to put this empty set of double quotes and not give it anything. I want to run it and see what it does. And here we print it out by using document.write and have the words, the gift ideas that you typed in were a couple of break tags to go down a couple spaces, and what you typed you're going to type 3 times. You're going to have gift index 0, which is going to be the first thing you type in, plus a break tag to go down the next line, plus gift 1, gift index 1, which is the second thing you're going to type, plus a break tag, plus gift 2, which is going to be the third thing that you type in. That's the end of the script. That's the end of the list item. So let me go on ahead and run this so that we see those couple of boxes that come out. The first one telling you to enter your name, and like I said, I want to see if this pops up and where it pops up. So I'm going to go ahead and click refresh. Enter your last name, or enter your name. Okay, so what I see here is the title says enter your name, but in the second set of double quotes, it's actually inputting something there, and that's really not necessary. So now I understand why he didn't bother. If I would have, so I really don't need to put that in there because that just kind of looks stupid. This is where you want to type. This is where the user wants to type, so this doesn't need to be there. So let's take that out, save it, and let's refresh the page. Oh, it's not going to let me until I go through all of these. Let's refresh the page. Enter your name. See, now it's blank. That's what makes more sense. So I'm going to type in my name. I'm going to hit OK. And now it's saying add a gift idea. And baloney is something that I wanted to see. That's right here. The gift index prompt, add a gift idea. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I don't even know why they have that. So you have a comma and you leave that empty. So let's cancel out of all of this, get out of there, refresh it, enter your name. We want our text area to be blank in both of those. Hit OK, add a gift idea. And see, now it's blank. It doesn't say baloney. Add a gift idea. Robe. And you could either hit enter or OK. And then I'm going to put slippers and hit enter. And then we're going to put tasty beverage and hit enter. Okay, now it says enter a number. So this is actually going from where we were to, it's going to another spot that we're not actually on right now, because this is the end of the script and the end of the list item. So I'm just going to cancel out of these until we actually get to that part. But this part that we just did says, hello, Lisa Washington, because I typed in my name. And then it says the gift ideas that you typed in were robe, slippers, and tasty beverage. So that is basically the gift ideas that you typed in were 2 break tags so that you get a nice little space, plus gift 0, that was the first thing that you typed in, plus a break, plus gift 1 was the second thing you typed, plus a break, plus gift 2, that was the third thing you typed. So that gives us that list right there, and these break tags let us go down one. If we don't have the break tags, then robe, slippers, and tasty beverage will all be on the same line. So that basically finishes those. Now let's go to this one. The next one says print array elements using the length property and the array index. There's our list item beginning tag and our ending tag. There's our script beginning and ending tag. Var stuff equals new array. So we're creating an array with the name of stuff. And in this one, we put socks, shoes, shirt, jeans, and hats. And hat, that's the list of the stuff array. We use the name of the array stuff dot sort. So now all of these things are going to go into alphabetical order. Then we use document dot write to spit it out on the screen. The elements in the array called stuff in ABC order are, with a break tag, that gives us this right here. Then we use this for loop, I equals 0, I less than stuff dot length, increment I. Document.write, a break tag plus stuff, whatever the index is. Well, the index starts at 0. So we are going to spit out every one of those elements, and they're nicely going to be in alphabetical order. And because we use this break tag first, we are going to get them one line at a time for each one instead of all smushed in the same line. End of the script tag, end of the list item. Alright, so we're done with that one. Now let's do this little quick shorty. Associative arrays use word associations instead of index associations. So here's our beginning list item and our end list item. There's our script tags. We are going to say var Bucky equals new array. So we're creating an array with the name of Bucky. This time we use the name of the array, and instead of a number 0, 1, and 2, in the index brackets, we're using a word that is surrounded by double quotes. So Bucky color equals blue. Bucky food equals Hot Pockets. And we're able to use the document.write to spit out Bucky's favorite food is plus Bucky food. Doing it this way makes it a little bit easier for the programmer, because instead of trying to understand what the first element is, okay, it's index 0. The second element, okay, it's index 1. Instead of dealing with numbers, we're dealing with word associations with human beings, and that makes life a little bit easier for understanding purposes. So right here, it shows how we have used word associations instead of index numerical values. All right, end of script, end of list item. Here's the next one. We're going to go over math objects. And here's the list item. Down here's the end of it. There's the script tags. And the one we're going to work on right now is this one, number 11. Document.write. The words the value of pi is, plus we're going to concatenate math.pi. This math.pi is an object in a class that's all an object and a method that's already included in JavaScript in general, so you don't have to write the function for that. So what you get right here, the value of pi is 3.141592653589793. The next line that is in that section, we use document.write, two break tags to give us two spaces right here, and then the words the value of the Euler's constant is, and then we're going to concatenate math.e. And the number for that, well, first we get the string right here, and then the number for that is 2.718.281.828.459.045. Here we have the comment that says use math.squirt, SQRT, and the prompt box to get a square root of a user input. The alert box shows the answer. So here we're going to use a math method that's already built into JavaScript, a prompt box to get the user to give us something, and an alert box to give the user an answer. So here we use var for variable n equals prompt. And the prompt is going to have the words enter a number and a comma. And remember, after the comma, we have an empty set of double quotes, because we don't want that box that the user can type in to have anything in it. We want it to be blank. Then we're going to have var answer equals math.squirt, and we're going to put that variable that we're creating right here in the parentheses. So when the prompt says enter a number and you enter a number, that's going to go in this variable called n. So the value of n is going to be whatever you type in. Then when you do this math.squirt of n, it's going to do the square root of whatever number you type in. Then you're going to get an alert box that has the words the square root of. It's going to concatenate the value of n, and then it's going to give you the word is, and then it's going to spit out the value of answer. So let's do that. Let's do that by, let me refresh this. Enter your name. This is coming from script that I've already shown you. And here's that whole gift idea thing again. So I'm going to say socks, enter, bra, enter, panties, enter. Enter a number. Now this is what we're dealing with now, enter a number. So we are going to put in the number 81, hit OK. The square root of 81 is 9. That gives us our answer. Hit OK. So now we've finished this list item section. So we've done this, and we've done this. Now we're on to this one. Actually, I had a problem with the date objects working correctly, so I commented it out. So we're not doing that. We're going to go down to this one that says accessing forms. There's our list item, beginning and closing. We're going to create a form. And in the form tags, we have the word username. Then we have this input type equals text. Then we have on the next line the word password and input type equals password. Lastly, we have input type equals submit and value equals submit. The value means the words that are on this button, and that's the end of the form. Next, we have a script that's going to deal with these form elements. We create a variable with a var keyword, var x equals document dot forms, and we're using the 0 index because we want the length of the form. When we want a length of a form, we want to know how many elements are in the form. We have the input type text is one element, input type password is a second element, and input type submit is a third element. So when we want to know the length of this particular form, we want to know how many elements are in it. So document.form0.length is going to spit out 3, and we do that with the document.write. We're going to spit out this text that says the number of inputs in the form is plus the value of x. And you see that right here. The number of inputs in the form is 3. And I already told you, you got this username here, this password place, and this submit button that does nothing. Well, actually, it did do something. It says enter your name. And then this is the whole gift idea thing, and I want to get out of there. Alrighty. This says whenever you have many forms, you need to identify it by the index, like form 0, forms index 0, or forms index 1, etc., etc. The end of list item. And so that's the end of that one. Where am I? I missed my space. We did that one. I did this one and this one. I did this one. Okay, I think I'm on this one now. Accessing form elements with the name and elements index. So there's the beginning of the list item, and quite a ways down there's the end of the list item. So this one, as you can see when I scroll down, is it's got quite a bit going on in this particular list item. We have a form. This is another form, and we are going to give it a name of Lisa's form. So we do kind of a similar thing that we did on the other one. We have username, the word username, input type text, name username. We have the word password, and then we have the input tag that says type password, name password. And we have input type submit, value of submit, name sub underscore button. It's the submit button. I gave all 3 of these items a name, and that's the end of the form. Then we gave ourselves this note. This is technically the second form on this whole page, because you see all this is one page. I just keep scrolling down and down and down. So we have a form up here that I just showed you. So this is technically the second form. Just because we're in a different list item doesn't mean this is not the second form on the page. This is technically the second form. So when we refer to anything about this form, we have to refer to this as index 1. This is index 0. This is index 1 that we're looking at right now. Okay, so there is our script tag and our ending script tag, and everything in between is what we're doing in this particular section. Var x equals document.forms, and like I told you, this is technically the second form, and forms, like all array elements, start with 0. This one up here was form 0, this is form 1. Then we're going to use dot elements 0, which is the first element that we created, which is this username here. Right here, it's the input type text, name equals username. That is what elements index 0 is. And the dot operator dot name means we want to pull out, what did we name that anyway? Well, we named it username. So then we use the document.write to spit that information out. We have this big long text that says the first element on this form, which happens to be the second form on the whole web page, and is form index 1, has the name of plus X. So all of that is all of these words, and this right here is the username that we gave it. If I come up here where it says name equals username, and if I add a bunch of M's to the end of it, username and I save it in Notepad++, and then I refresh this page, cancel out of that one, cancel out of these are previous, enter number, we don't need to do that. Right here has the name of, that's the name for this username text area. I just changed it and I just showed you how it pulls that out. So I don't really need to save that. I just wanted to show you the difference. And cancel out of all of these. We've done this code already. All right. How far down in this code did I finish? I did this first one. The next thing is var x equals document.forms1, which is still this form. This time we're going to draw out dot elements with one index, which is actually our password area because it's the second thing that we created. And we want to find out what did we name this password thing. So we have document.write, a couple break tags. The next element on this form has the name of, and another break tag, plus X. And the next element in this form has the name of password. Again, if I change the name of this password right here to password with a bunch of P's on the end, and I save it, and then I refresh the page and I cancel out of all of these that we've already done, you see right here the next element on this form is the name of password PPP, because we have actually accessed the name, the hidden name of that particular element. Okay, I refreshed it, so I got to get out of all this junk again. And lastly, input type equals submit, value equals submit, name equals, this is the sub underscore button. Of course, we're going to do the same thing again. var x equals document.lisa's form. Oh, I'm sorry. Here we looked for the first element's name, which was username. Here the second element's name, which was password. Instead of using form index, you can access the form by its name. So this is doing it a little bit differently. Instead of looking for this index right here, you can use var x equals document dot, and instead of forms1, we gave this form a name of Lisa's form right here. Here's form name equals Lisa's form, which makes it so much easier than looking for, like I said, index values. So document.Lisa's form dot elements, I'm going to look for the second index, elements with the second index, which is technically the third thing that I created, which is this submit button, and I want the name of it. So document.write, couple break tags to go down a couple lines. Using the elements index, the last element on this form has the name of and another break plus X. So this is what we got here. Using the elements index, the last element on this form is the name of, and I named this button sub underscore BTN for submit button. Last little thing we got going on here says, likewise, you can access the form's elements by their name instead of their index too. This makes life less confusing. So lastly, we have var x equals document.Lisa's form dot sub underscore button dot name. Document.write break tag, using the element's name. The last element on this form has the name of break tag and the value of X, sub button, which kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense because why would we want to access the name already knowing the name? I think that's kind of strange. But anyway, it basically shows you how it pulls that information out. End script, end li. So now we're done with that. The very last thing that I have for this video is something called simple form validation. There's our list item beginning and ending. We actually have the script here because we have the form above the script. So we have form name equals my last form, input type equals checkbox, name equals the box, input type button, value equals press me, and on click equals validator. So here we have an on click event that's going to name a method. It's going to run a method when you push this button, and that's the end of the form. That's where the next script tag comes in. We're going to create a method. Of course, we're going to start off with the keyword function, and the method name, as is right here, is going to be validator. This has nothing in the parentheses, and everything that's in the meat of the curly braces is what the function does. We have an if conditional statement that's saying if document.mylastform.thebox.checked, if that is true, then everything in these curly braces is going to execute. We're going to get an alert box that says yes, it is checked. If this is not true, meaning this is not checked, then we're going to go to this else statement, which is going to obey and execute what's in their curly braces, which is going to give us a different alert box that says no, it is not checked. And that's the end of the script and the end of the list item. So if I refresh this yet again, hit cancel for all these other things that we've already went over. Now we're down to here. If you check it and hit press me, it's going to execute this method called validator. And we get this, yes, it is checked. Click OK to stop it. Uncheck it, hit press me again. No, it is not checked. OK. And that concludes, because all the rest of these are blank, all the rest of these list items are blank. And since they are, actually, I can just kill them all because I'm not going to have any other code for any other tutorials in this. I can go all the way down to the, let's just delete all that. The end of the list item, I don't need two ending list items, but I can move up these blank spaces. This is the end of the ordered list, the end of the body, and the end of the HTML. And if I refresh this, I can do this one final time. Enter your name, Lisa. Add a gift idea. Let's see, scarf, enter, hat, enter, shoes, enter a number, let's say 125, or no, 215, enter. The square root of 215 is 14 point, and then there's just a really huge decimal point. Hit OK. The username here and password actually does nothing with this submit button. We were just basically going over the code. Let's see. I don't really think I need to go over anything else. I think that's it with all those prompt boxes. And we already did this. And that concludes the whole thing.